back into the thing like he hadn't been gone for like 100 years, you know? It's interesting, for sure, most definitely interesting. So, what you think? I mean, I can kind of see it. I mean, it's still a little weird how he can just get back into the groove of things, but you know, that's what you're looking for, right? That's what we're looking for. What's up? How you doing? It's your boy Jay Anthony, Joshua Anthony, back in the building today like I never left. Yes, I know I've left. But it's cool though, because I'm here for the first episode of the presidential candidate analysis like I promised you guys, like, what was it, like a year ago? And I still didn't complete it. It's whatever though, because now it's dropped down a lot. So that's so much less stress on your boy. But this first episode is going to be about Elizabeth Warren, and it's going to be different categories. I'll show the categories up now. Alright, there you go. So those are the categories that you see on your screen, and now it's time for the show. Holla at your boy. Come on. Now the first thing I want to hit on when it comes to Elizabeth Warren is her healthcare policies. That is A1. She believes in free healthcare, universal healthcare for everyone in the United States of America, which is amazing. Which means everyone, regardless of your gender or your race, you get healthcare. Doesn't matter. But when it comes to these types of things, there's always a con. And according to NPR News, this free healthcare will cost upward $20.5 trillion. And you know where they get that money from? The taxpayers. Because that's how the government is funded, by the people. So there's always good things and bad things when it comes to anything that's any government project. There's always the con and there's always the pro. But in this case, I believe the pro outweighs the con, and in the long term, it will benefit the United States as a whole. On to taxes. Now, Elizabeth Warren and her tax policies have one huge pro. She wants to do a tax on the wealthy. She calls it the ultra millionaire tax bill. I guess I just know the ultra millionaire part. But what it is a 2-cent tax on the wealthy. So if you have $50 billion and up, you have to be charged 2 cents for every dollar. And what that essentially does is take some of the stress off of the middle class, which I believe is phenomenal. But then you always have that con. It's not really much of a difference compared to what's going on now. But the middle class will still have to pay taxes and still probably have to pay the bulk of it. But at the end of the day, you're still paying less taxes than you did before. Now on to Elizabeth Warren's job wages. Now, when it comes to job wages, you know, people aren't satisfied with that $7.25 an hour. Never satisfied. But I had to do a lot of digging, and I found, Liz, I gotta give you your props for this one, Liz. Gotta give you your props. She attempted, it was a bill that was called the Minimum Wage Fairness Act, which would move the minimum wage from $7.25 to $10.10, which means people would have been making $10.10 an hour, which is way more than what they are currently making. But sadly, the bill got struck down. But if you're wondering where she stands on job wages, she co-sponsored this bill. So that means she was a big part of it, but this is where she stands on it. And if you are feeling the vibes for her, that would be a great thing to follow. And to be honest, there was no cons about it. There are no cons whatsoever when it comes to the job wages. I believe that they should be increased. So I have no problem with this one. Where does Elizabeth Warren sit on job displacement? Now here's the biggest pro out of maybe the whole list. For me personally, I feel like this may be a big pro. She wants to create 10.6 million new green jobs. When I say green jobs, I don't mean like you'll just be rocking the color green. I legitimately mean she wants to create 10.6 million jobs that are more eco-friendly, that can help Mother Earth feel a little better, make Mother Nature not cough up, you know, feel a little better, help our oceans because our oceans are tattered. We have a giant pile of trash the size of a state or an island, one of the two. It doesn't make it good because it's destroying our ocean population. So I believe that's a huge pro, but then comes the con. and this has me a little iffy, a little uneven about how she's going about this. When she creates these new jobs, she is also eliminating 2 million working Americans from their current jobs in fossil fuels and things of that nature. So what she's doing is creating 10 million jobs while taking away 2 million. And I know you're probably like, just do it on math, just do it on math. You still have 8.4, but 8 million jobs, rough estimate, that these people can still get to. That's true, quite true. But you know, you want to account for every American, not almost every. You want to account for every American when you're doing something of this magnitude. And so what she be doing, Liz, look at me. I want you to. What would you do to ensure that these 2 million Americans got into that bubble of 10.6 million new green jobs? Would you have a pathway so that they can cross over into those new jobs? What would you do? Let me know, Liz. And if any other candidate, Cory Booker, if you have any ideas, Joe Biden, let me know. I'm really intrigued about how you guys would handle this. Now we're going to move on to how the pros of Elizabeth Warren dealing with the federal budget. Okay, in this case, I went and looked all over the place, and according to Roll Call and the research that I've done, the middle class households within the United States will be having a net saving of $9.2 trillion over the next decade. I know you're just like, okay, bro, what that mean? I truly don't know. And what that means, Liz, you can help me out here. What that means is that it's more money in your pocket. That's essentially what it means. More money in your pocket, less money in the government's pocket. Because you will be saving $9.2 trillion. There are over 300 million people in the United States. That's a lot of money. And a lot of different projects cost trillions of dollars. So in this case, this is great for America, and it doesn't do too much damage to the federal budget. Now, the cons, they're none. It's just going to cost. For the longest time, I was trying to figure out what past president is Elizabeth Warren trying to follow in the footsteps of. I've researched her slogan, all kinds of things. Her slogan, her website. I've just gone far beyond the call of anything. I've been out there researching hard so that I can make sure I have everything correct. And on her website, she says that she's following in the steps of FDR. She has a plan for that. FDR is known for all of the programs and organizations that he created to help bring America out of the Great Depression. And so what she's doing is creating that atmosphere that she has a plan for everything, much like FDR did. And I'm all for it. I agree. I'm pro. I'm pro. This is a big pro. Now, the con of it, I don't really see a con, but what she is going to have to do is make tweaks to fit the modern society that we live in today for these organizations and the plans that she has for the American people. Heck, where does she stand on military presence and alliances? Big pro here, big pro. She believes that we should not have left the Kurdish people alone. And many other presidential candidates believe the same thing. I personally believe that we should not have left them where they are. We should have, well, that's their homeland, so we're not just going to pick them up and take them somewhere. We should have had their back. We should not have just left them alone to fend for themselves. They fought against ISIS. They fought against so many different groups and terrorist groups that have brought harm to themselves, Iraq, and Syria. But yet, Iraq and Syria still do not have the compassion that the Kurds have for them and their neighbors. And when it comes to alliances, She believes that we were not cordial. We were not cordial with our allies at all. But as a matter of fact, we were rubbing arms, rubbing hands with the enemy. We were trying to befriend the North Koreans. I don't understand why we're trying to befriend Kim Jong-un. He's threatened us so many times. At this point, I don't trust this guy. There is no coming back from the things that he has said. There can be diplomacy and working towards the future, but what he does is create an atmosphere of possible peace and then yanks it away when he gets the support that he needs. So that's where we are when it comes to that situation. There is really no con. To be honest, I believe that Liz, you did your thing when it came to the military presence and your allies. I have to give you your props for that. Where do you stand on climate change, Miss Elizabeth Warren? I'ma tell the people. I'ma tell the people. I'ma tell the people. Yeah, I'm gonna probably edit that out. That was childish. Yeah, I'm probably not. I'm too lazy. So, let me explain what I have found. On your website, you said you want to do the Green New Deal, which, and part of that Green New Deal, I have discussed a little bit earlier in the video about how you wanted to create these new jobs and things of that nature. And you also have something called the New Blue Deal, which deals with rebuilding our oceans, helping with the bleaching of our coral reefs, and rebuilding our animal population in the ocean, which that's a big pro. Now, on to the cons, baby. Now, when it comes to cons like this, I mean, I don't really see it as a con, but more as a big investment for the future of next generation of families, next generation of Americans. Now, what she wants to do is do a $3 trillion investment into green research, which means she wants to research all the methods in the possible known universe of how we can reverse the effects of climate change, and she wants to add an additional $1.5 trillion in American-made, which brings in some jobs, American-made clean/green items. And now when it comes to this, what we're hearing here is, though remember we do have that wealth tax that could be a possibility if she were to win, but in this case, you're still putting a lot of weight on the taxpayers, especially the middle class, because they do handle all of this. I'm gonna be frank with you guys. My mom is one of the middle class. My family in general is a middle class. So what that means is that, Elizabeth, you're putting Miss Elizabeth Warren, you're putting stress on my family. And you're putting stress on other Americans' families when you come up with these outrageous numbers. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to live in a beautiful world where we can fix climate change and things of that nature. But when it comes to a lot of these situations, your biggest problem is the money. The money that you are willing to spend and the money you are willing to take from the United States taxpayers. Now, I did like the federal budget move where you bring in Americans the net worth of $9.2 trillion, but at the end of the day, you're still putting a lot of stress on my family. But in this case, I have to abstain on how I feel about this, so I'm just gonna sit this in the middle as a pro and a con. You know, that sits in both. You trying to save the planet and American generations, but at the same time, the short term, you're gonna be hurting the Americans' pockets. Well, that's the end of the video, guys. So, hope you liked this video. Share it. Just give it out. Just send it out to everybody. Your mommy, your cousin, Liz, baby. Give that with your boy. Send this out to everyone you know. Thank you for watching. I hope to make more content. I'm not going to make any more promises. We know how those go. But I hope to see you guys soon. Peace. I'm out.